All right, well, welcome to the fifth Neuro-Symbolic AI Summer School. I'm Alex. I'm our President and Scientific Director, and you're here at the fifth instance of this summer school. And so we're very happy. Our audience keeps growing and interest keeps growing. Now, what is Neuro-Symbolic AI? I'm actually not going to answer that. You'll find out in our very next full talk from Vaishak Bell. We'll introduce it, but roughly speaking, it's a cloud of ideas for kind of what it sounds like, combining statistical and symbolic AI. Okay, and it's 6 a.m. here, and probably a terrible time for most people, so thanks. We are a global event, so we have people all over the world, 95 countries. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the Institute, just for some background. You can find out more on our website, but basically, our reason for existence is to change the field toward smarter and safer AI, as I'll describe in more detail in a sec. We're a nonprofit, 501c3. Our mission is research, long-term research in particular, the kind that is difficult to do over multiple academic grants, and particularly difficult to do for companies that are in a race for survival, typically, and growth. And so we figured you actually need an independent org to do this kind of work. And at least we can help the ecosystem and education around helping people to do this. Now, we do our own research. We also fund academics to do research, and that will keep growing. We're already starting to do that. Okay, and so why do we hold these events in the first place? There's a lot of work to put on, but we've really seen some of the fruits of it over the years. So it becomes a kind of meeting point for an emerging neurosymbolic AI community. It's really fairly large now. We estimate it's about 10,000 people if you put all of our channels together, consisting of researchers, developers, data scientists, and other people who work in AI on the business side, CIOs, CTOs, and a lot of other people just interested in the latest and greatest in AI. Now, many people, including me, feel it is the next wave of AI, and sort of inevitable that at least major elements of whatever the next AI is come exactly from here. This is part of the growing interest. But it's very complicated because it's a cloud of ideas. There are many approaches. They all attack different aspects. And so there's a lot to learn about. In particular, the statistical and the symbolic parts are both complicated and rich and have lots of history and lots of different approaches within them. And putting them together multiplies the complexity. And so we felt education is really necessary, technical education. There's also a kind of education which is, we think it's important, just creating awareness of the capabilities within this space for those who are going to translate it into society, and in particular, policymakers. Now, we are not a policy org, which I'll come to later, but we feel this emerging area is woefully under the radar in terms of policy and just general public awareness. One of the things, which I'll say more about maybe tomorrow, is our certificate that you can get for attending the summer school. And it keeps looking nicer and nicer. Last year was a jump up, and this year will be, I think, extra nice. And I want to also say that our role in the ecosystem is, as I described, but we are not a conference per se, meaning we don't, in fact, many people asked us if we should be or want to be, since we get a lot of viewership and we have such a large community, but we think that role is better played by existing outlets. NSSS in particular, the oldest of the Neuro-Symbolic events that are conference events, started out as a workshop, now full conference and excellent. You should check it out. Here's the link. It's coming up soon, actually, so it's registration time for NSSS. Check it out. There's also Noose, relatively newer and also very strong. Check it out. And there are also workshops that appear increasingly in conferences, major conferences like AAAI and so on. iClear. Okay, and we are also kind of can function as a central hub for information about all things Neuro-Symbolic. You'll start to see that more and more on our website as it really is starting to expand as an area. Okay, let me just, just so you have some background on the kinds of things we and many people think you sort of need Neuro-Symbolic AI for, something like it, something within this cloud. It's to address these core problems, which you may recognize as things in the headlines everywhere now. Hallucinations and non-factuality. And it gets even worse as you generate potentially wrong text and it goes back into the internet, poop into your own food, so to speak. Many people are concerned with this, and logical reasoning errors. In short, you don't really need to make such errors if you do it with a rigorous reasoning process as opposed to pattern recognition. And of course, the massive costs, both in data and compute, which we're now seeing lead to all sorts of issues beyond the obvious economics. But like if your data that you need is so large as possible, you can't really vet it. You may be violating people's ownership rights and so on. The compute, of course, is very much in headlines now, leading to massive data centers, affecting climate, water, concentration of power, and so on. Uncontrollability. By this, I mean the following a policy or laws or rules inherently in the AI. And we have prompts that you can use in sort of current AI, but there's actually no strict guarantee the prompts are followed. And things can be forgotten anyway in current types of models that are black boxes, are difficult to trust for mission critical applications. And one that, these are all things we talk about all the time so far in Neuro-Symbolic AI and actually everywhere in AI. But this last one, I think I just want to highlight because it's not necessarily obvious, but maybe a greater concern, greater than all of them, all of the previous ones, even though they are all significant, is our existential fear of being essentially left out of the loop entirely in a deep way as humans. Now, and this is very real, and we're talking about jobs and so on, but even more deeply, our importance, our reason to exist at all. So, and we may touch upon this in our panel at the very end of the event, but I'll just throw out that Neuro-Symbolic AI, to the extent that, or one way to think of it is, it has two inputs: raw data, as opposed to one input, which is machine learning really has one input, the data, you could say. And now you could say this set of AI ideas, Neuro-Symbolic AI, adds a second input, which is formalized knowledge. That, at least if done in certain ways, would require humans in the loop, okay, to author, vet, modify knowledge, and also reasoning paths, giving humans an actual important place in AI. Okay, now I just want to emphasize, we see our role. Most nonprofits around AI are actually about policy, if not all of them, and that's incredibly important. We need to, as a society, figure out what we want to do with AI in terms of controlling it and so on. But we are not a policy org. We are starting to think about working formally with policy orgs, and we're not political. Our role is to try to technically enable these things and allow AI to implement some kind of policy strictly. So that's it. And I think a lot of the things you'll see in this meeting are attacking one or more of these issues. So, and we have a new website, just went up yesterday. So if there are any little glitches, let us know. And I'll show some highlights of it tomorrow. And we have a new learning site, and this is where we're starting to make it easier to check out all of our many videos from all of our events. About 230 videos so far, which is only about, it's not all of our videos, in fact. I want to give a special shout out. You may have noticed the nice leap in aesthetics. And that's thanks to Will Wire and Tony Murphy. And if you need a designer, you cannot do better than these guys. So highly recommend them. Reach out to us if you want. Contact info. Now, these are some of the many ways to stay connected with us. On Discord, this is the biggest community, Neuro-Symbolic AI. We have a BYOP program, Bring Your Own Project. And this is where we'll host your project and give you the added visibility of doing so. And places to follow us, literally, you can actually listen to this event from YouTube. usually from LinkedIn, although for this event, I think we're not doing it from LinkedIn. So by the way, you can ask questions in this event from either Discord or YouTube, okay, and we'll funnel those to the speakers. Now, let me just lastly mention a bit what's coming up over the next 2 days, today and tomorrow. So you'll have a little overview of Neuro-Symbolic AI from one of the leaders of the area, Vaishak. Luis, another leader and pioneer of the field, will go over some of these many approaches, as I mentioned, to combining the two sides and give you a sort of way of thinking about a framework for thinking about that. And today is a lot of pragmatic stuff for those of you who just kind of want stuff that works, want to answer the question, what can I do with Neuro-Symbolic AI today? So we'll have a nice tutorial on improving the abilities of LLMs with symbolic techniques. And then very special to me is potentially a coming out of Neuro-Symbolic AI as far as really starting to make the leap into industry. I think research in Neuro-Symbolic AI has gone all the way back to the early 90s, but it's now starting to appear in industry and products. Okay, so we're gonna show you a nice sample of notable companies, two giants, Samsung and Amazon, and some startups and small companies. And this is not all of them, but we thought these were notable in different ways. Okay, and it's growing. Then that's, I think, the larger kind of takeaway, and getting better and better. And finally, you'll see efforts at DARPA, and this is as all institutions more or less that have their eye in the future are starting to see more activity in Neuro-Symbolic AI, including DARPA, NSF, venture capital funded entities, and so on. Okay, and then tomorrow we're gonna get into more hardcore research, including theoretical topics. But we're gonna start with a very special, for those, in particular for those of you who are new to logic and symbolic AI. We're going to have a very special session with Bob Kowalski, the creator of Prologue. And this Prologue just celebrated its 50th anniversary, and hugely, it's hard to say how important it was for all of symbolic AI, and still is. And we'll have a number of other important tutorials and two very special panels. One with the leaders, some of the leaders of key efforts in the symbolic AI era, and that is a very special collection and conversation that I'm really looking forward to. And about lessons learned, and ideas for how we can build upon many of the great works that were done. And finally, we're very fortunate to have two very prominent journalists, and Gary Marcus, many of you know, longtime supporter of Neuro-Symbolic AI, and we're going to discuss a lot of societal issues. All right, so that should be really fun. And okay, oops. With that, maybe now I'll pass it to Josh, let me just say, we haven't had sponsors until this year, so that's new and exciting for us. We're even considering sponsors, we're kind of careful to choose ones that really resonate with us. And fortuitously, Josh Bloom, professor of astronomy at Berkeley, is providing a service for researchers, and we love that. And let me pass it to him to tell you about it.
Thank you very much, Alex. I've got a couple of slides to show. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Josh Bloom, and I am professor at UC Berkeley and also CEO of Valency. And we're super happy to be supporting this summer school. Give you just a couple of slides here to introduce us, but the big picture here is that we view AI accelerated research as coming, and we want to support open science and open research in this agentic era with a grounding. And what I'll be talking about today is our first product called Valency Bond that we believe helps ground AI accelerated research in a fresh corpus and helps against hallucinations, but less on the negative side, more on the positive side, can help you and your agents and the ways in which you're working in this new era do things with confidence and trust. I should say that these slides are live. You can see the link down below, and there's a version of this talk that's up there if you want to follow along. But the biggest takeaway here is that we're hoping you can get a free account and start engaging with this large corpus of literature as you do your deep literature search using your favorite LLMs. So if you have a phone, you can take out the phone now and scan it with a QR code, or even better, if you go to the link that I show up there, app.valency.io/go NS2026, you'll be able to connect your favorite LLM and get access to this fresh corpus of data. Now, what can you do with that? Well, you can ask a lot of interesting questions and do this with semantic meaning. So you're not just searching the fresh literature with keyword searches, but search in natural language. If you want to know more about somebody that you're about to speak with or is coming up next, Vaishak's coming up after this, ask questions about that person, find out what they've been up to. And instead of having your LLM go off to the internet to do a web search, once you've connected up Valency Bond, you'll end up getting these answers very quickly and drawn not from what is on the web, but from the actual record of what is in the corpus. So far, we've indexed 45 million papers. There's a few thousand that come in every day from a variety of different sources. And behind that is an even larger graph of 450 million citations. So as you wind up asking questions about the citation network, so if we click on the show network, you can see Vaishak's different collaborators across a couple of different areas that he's worked in. And that, we think, is incredibly powerful as you're trying to engage not just with the literature, but the people who are doing this work. And as you ask questions, obviously, and as you write your papers, you're interested in getting the artifacts that are important, like BibTeX exports of those papers of interest. So there's lots of different ways you can engage across any topic of interest, but obviously in the neurosymbolic world, these are just a couple of examples. Asking questions about trends, asking questions about impact across multiple fields. And again, asking about people and their research and how it's had an impact on potentially other fields. If you go into the live presentation itself on the web, you can click on the 38 MCP tools, and you can see all the different tools that are happening under the hood, where we've done all the joins and the normalization of the data for you. We also have a set of skills, and just with a single copy of what you see on the left-hand side into your terminal, if you run that, you can install all these different skills, which are really just a collection of the MCP tool calls that allow you to go even deeper into the grounded corpus. So as I wrap up, just to say, we are in public beta right now. You still need an invite code, and for the whole summer school, we've made one available. If you go to app.valency.io/go/NS2026, or you scan the QR code, which will show again, then you can just connect up your Claude, your Codex, whatever it is that you use in your daily life. And after you do that, you'll be able to confirm that you're live and start asking questions grounded in the corpus. So with that, I'll say thank you. We're super excited to be supporting this summer school. Please do connect. One of the fun things is once you're in and you're working with your LLM, if you just say send feedback to Valency, if you see an error with the corpus, or you want something else that's not there, we'll see that and we can act on it really quickly. The last I'll just say is that we really see ourselves as the data layer for this new era of agentic science. There's incredible intelligence that's happening above us. And when you ground intelligence in a real corpus, we think that is a huge power up. And we're super excited to see what you do with it. Please do get in touch and have a great rest of the summer school. Bye all.
Thanks so much, Josh. All right, happy to support Valency and AI to help research itself. Again, free. Now, and we'll make that code available at the break that Josh mentioned. And let me just say, if we had known about this tool, it might have helped us a lot. We do a lot of curation, as you can probably tell, to sort of show you the best of Neuro-Symbolic AI and things we think are very important developments in this meeting and our other meetings. So we're part symposium, part school, you could say. Okay, so, and you'll be seeing more links so you can find Valency. So with that, let's bring in Vaishak Bell.